Good evening and welcome to the fastest half hour in the cryptid world, This Week in Bigfoot, the news show that scours the internet and the Bigfoot community to bring you the people, places, and stories making headlines around the Bigfoot world. Then we take it and wrap it up in a nice, neat 30-minute package. If it has to do with Sasquatch, Bigfoot, or the Wildman, we've got it all covered. Here's what we got on tap for this week. With everyone talking Bigfoot DNA, we'll take a look at how maintaining evidence integrity just might help the cause. Mike Luci brings us up to speed on the latest Florida skunk ape photo, you know, the one everyone's talking about. It's time for another classic 2 Minutes With, this one's a viewer's choice, and Bigfoot researcher Tom Steenberg stops by to talk Ivan Mark syndrome. These stories and much more, so you better buckle up because this one's gonna fly by. Let's get to it.
911, what are you reporting?
He's walking upright like a man.
With someone or something crawling around out here.
But he went back up the mountain.
Get somebody out there.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9", I don't know. He's all black and big. He is big.
The study of creatures like Bigfoot has always captured the imagination of amateur scientists and cryptid researchers. And with the brand new Bigfoot DNA project scheduled for later this year, you know, the one in all the headlines, the one from North Carolina State, Darby Orcutt, ring a bell? The reality of putting the rest of the debate of the creature's existence, or whether it's flesh and blood, has never been closer. But for this project to be successful, the collection of evidence in the field is of utmost importance, as maintaining the integrity of this evidence, including that from alleged Bigfoot tracks, hair samples, or other possible sources, is crucial. And here's why. Preserving the integrity of the evidence helps establish the credibility of your investigation. If evidence is mishandled or contaminated, it can and will cast doubt on your findings and conclusions people draw from it. So use gloves, tweezers, and plastic or paper bags whenever possible. Collecting evidence clean and neat, it may take a little bit longer, but that's the way it should be done. By maintaining the integrity of the evidence you collect, you enhance the credibility of your work and the likelihood of getting back an accurate report on what you sent in, regardless of the outcome. Researchers must also approach any investigation with objectivity and avoid influencing the evidence. Objectivity is crucial to maintaining the scientific rigor and impartiality required in any investigation, especially one of this magnitude. While doing some research for this segment, I came across a new post in the Bigfoot Believers Facebook group that did a critique on a recent Todd Standing expedition video from 2023. Now, I know it seems like you hear Standing's name called a lot on this show, but it's only because he's a perfect example sometimes of what not to do. Let's take a look at the video.
So you can see right here, this is busted, right? Here's the,
This is just like Ashley's track that she found, isn't it?
this is the
Same individual.
This is the heel.
Yeah.
You can see toes in here. You can feel them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It busted through this.
Yeah. Wow, that really busted up. That's very significant in the shape of a Bigfoot. But not terribly big. And then there's another one over here. There's more of this particular track?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's the particular Sasquatch, but we found a half dozen really solid, without question, footprints, and it's exciting to me personally because it's just, there's really no question to me. The question has been eliminated. It's a footprint, and it's just it's really exciting to me.
Now, the person who made that post also made a lot of great points in regards to Todd's video and not what to do when you have alleged evidence. Now, chances are that evidence wasn't legit anyway, but the validity of evidence is also important to determining its value. If evidence is compromised, it may become inadmissible to a project or completely unreliable. Now, with all the talks of this new Bigfoot DNA project in the news as of late, these are just some main talking points I wanted to bring up again, and I wanted to bring them up real quick when it comes to collecting evidence and preserving its integrity. With last week's announcement from Darby Orcutt and the new Bigfoot DNA project set to kick off soon, there are bound to be more researchers than ever traipsing through the forests of North America, collecting samples and hopefully applying to send them into the project. Maintaining the integrity of these samples you collect is not only fundamental to conducting the credible and reliable investigation, but it also helps establish the validity of your findings. And who knows, the work you do and the samples you send in just might help get us to the bottom of this centuries-old mystery we call Bigfoot.
You know, it's funny. Brendon literally started his second segment last week saying this.
The news world is fast-paced and ever-changing. More than once, we've recorded our segments, edited them into a show, and put the episode to bed just to have the news landscape change just prior to or right after the weekly airing of our This Week in Bigfoot. More than a little frustrating, and the hazards of doing a weekly newscast with a deadline.
This photo was first posted on July 18th, literally less than 24 hours after I wrapped up putting my segments together for last week's episode. It originated from a thread on the Bigfoot subreddit before spreading like wildfire across social media. Posted by Redditor FL Swampbait, he only said it was taken somewhere on the Gulf side of Central Florida. He claims the bizarre image was captured on a friend's trail camera, but guessed it was probably an escaped monkey. The image was even brought to the attention of Outcast Paranormal Stacy Brown Jr., who shared it on his social media accounts. I got a chance to chat with Stacy, who said he'd been told some interesting info about where the picture originated.
So, with those photos, apparently there's a series of them, right? It's not just the one. About a month and a half ago, my research partner, Marty Morgan, his cousin, told him, hey, I have this photo of a skunk ape and you have to see it, but it's on one of my old cell phones. I have to find it. Right? So we're thinking it's BS, the chain of custody here. It's from Marty's cousin.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the cousin got it from a guy in his hunting camp about 10 years ago, right? And so that photo is 10 years old, at least.
Gotcha, okay.
But there's a series of them, and the guy that owns photos is like in his late 80s. You know, they had corn there on the ground, and thing came up to it. They got the trail cam photos. Old man didn't know what to do with it. They showed them, and then everybody was tight-lipped about it because they really don't want nobody, I guess, coming up there. Not sure really what compelled the cousin to share the photos. It took him about a month to find that cell phone, and then he shared the photos with us. We had them a couple days before it hit the internet, you know, before we put it out, so...
Now, I did ask Stacy if he knew whether FL Swamp Ape was the cousin who told him about the photos.
I'm not sure, because like the only reason we put them out is because they were in a Williston, Florida, like locals page, right? Like one of the Facebook local groups you have for your town.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? And so they went in there, so I went ahead and posted it because the important thing, which paid off, at least in some way, we post them from the area, and then the reports will get given to us. We can monitor all the comments that are coming in, see everything. So we've actually came off 5 reports. We got 5 reports of people seeing that animal, and not too long ago.
So let's take a closer look. Right off the bat, we got to point out there's no timestamp, which is always suspicious. Now, I was initially sketched out by those pipes running up that tree there, plus that metal object protruding from up top. However, both Brown and FL Swamp Ape clarified this was a deer feeder. You can even see some corn scattered on the ground there. The picture garnered a huge reaction across social media. Guesses on what it could be included a mask or suit, Bigfoot, bear, AI, gorilla, monkey, even a hybrid primate was proposed. One Redditor even put these side-by-side comparisons together to try and help rule out what the photo could or couldn't have captured. As far as what the figure in the photo could or couldn't be, here's what Stacy Brown had to say.
Just from knowing the land in the state, you know, I would say that thing's about 3 to 4 foot tall.
Yeah.
You know, apparently it's on its hands and knees carrying the baby. That's what I've been told.
Okay.
How much of that's true, I don't know. Because there's a thing down there under the log that looks like it could be a boot. but it also looks like it could be a piece of wood, you know, so maybe it is a boot. But that's why I'm wanting one of the other photos so I could, maybe that thing's still there, you know. But we did get 5 reports from the area, and we're going to go interview those people this week.
A particularly interesting detail many people pointed out is how the figure appears to be holding a baby. Another commenter said it appeared more like the figure was holding a young deer, but will you be the judge on that? Stacy said he'll keep everyone updated on if and when he gets his hands on these reported additional trail camera photos, and will in turn keep you updated on any new developments. Check out Stacy on social media, and don't forget to give his group Outcast Paranormal a follow as well. In the meantime, as I'm sure you all know how this works by now, I'll ultimately let you decide if what we have here is a fact or hoax.
Today's episode of This Week in Bigfoot is sponsored by Got Knockers Apparel and Clothing. From hoodies and caps to soaps, keychains, and bats, Got Knockers has everything you need to show your love of Bigfoot. For more information and to shop their items, be sure to visit the Got Knockers page on Facebook at facebook.com/Got Knockers. Hey, Got Knockers? The Bigfoot phenomenon, with its folklore and countless sightings, has fascinated people for centuries. Documentaries on the subject are plentiful and range from the professional grade, like Legend Meets Science, to amateur, search Finding Jay. Regardless of the production, most serve as a platform to raise awareness about the cultural significance of Bigfoot, its impact on local communities and researchers, and the conservation efforts needed to protect its habitats, if it does exist. In fact, if you look under the hood of most of the YouTube videos on the subject, I do, the terms Bigfoot, Sasquatch, film, or documentaries are generally the most searched keywords on the subject, regardless of the channel. It's what people in the community are looking for. It's what people in the community want. The legend of Bigfoot is deeply ingrained in the cultural fabric of various indigenous communities around the world as well. Some films like Outcast Paranormal Satanga, Bigfoot Spirits and Faith play a crucial role in preserving the rich history and cultural significance of these stories, ensuring that they're passed down to future generations. It's a good film, you should check it out. Documentaries also tend to humanize Bigfoot by showcasing the stories of researchers or those claiming to have had encounters with the creature. These films foster empathy and compassion, allowing audiences to see the phenomenon from a more personal perspective. On July 3rd, to little or no fanfare, the latest in a long line of Bigfoot documentaries was released to the public. Unseen: The Legend of Bigfoot, the Deluxe Edition. Originally released August 29th of last year, this latest edition of the Bigfoot documentary, the Zack Snyder Cut, filmed at the 2022 Bigfoot Discovery Days in West Branch, Michigan, contains additional scenes with more Bigfoot stories from investigators and witnesses.
Always happy to commune with my fellow Bigfoot enthusiasts around the country.
Haven't had any sightings, but I'm pretty sure we've had some vocalizations.
When you add 2 extra legs into it, it doesn't sound like a human walking.
Off about my 1 o'clock, maybe 100 yards in, I hear another different toned one, kind of boo.
To the possibility that may have been a Bigfoot.
Bigfoot Times publisher Dan Perez appears in the film. He did a presentation and was interviewed for the documentary. It is clearly one of the highlights of the film, and it comes in at the 37-minute mark if you're interested. As the Bigfoot phenomenon continues to intrigue and captivate the world, documentaries on the subject continue to play a vital role, raising awareness and fostering a deeper appreciation for the subject matter. After watching Unseen, I couldn't help but feel that I had seen the film before, although I never watched the original version, as it contained a lot of the same researcher-type interviews and witness-type accounts that take up the same screen time in similar films. Whether one is a skeptic or a believer, though, the importance of these films in exploring the legend of Bigfoot cannot be overstated. Through its compelling narratives, Bigfoot documentaries continue to shed light on the mysteries that enthrall all of us and shape the understanding of the world we inhabit. Unseen: The Legend of Bigfoot Deluxe Edition is out now and free online, and like everything else we discuss on this show, the link for it is in the description.
There's sadly been another passing of a well-known figure in the Bigfoot community, Michael Green, known for capturing thermal recordings of a possible Sasquatch in North Carolina's Uwharrie National Forest. passed away on July 17th at the age of 81. Mr. Green was a renowned researcher whose 2009 thermal footage became some of the most intriguing potential evidence to date. Green claimed he had a brief Bigfoot sighting 1 year earlier in NEWSWORTHY National Forest and kept returning to the same spot with hopes of catching the creature on film. On April 28, 2009, a thermal camera he set up caught what came to be known as the squeaky footage. We'll put a link to the full version in the video's description, but we'll play this clip for you now. Green's research took him across North America, and he always stood firmly by his thermal footage, remaining certain that the figure in question was in fact a Squatch. He posted his video on the BFR website and was even featured on an episode of Animal Planet's Finding Bigfoot. A former sergeant and tank commander with the 4th Recon Squadron, 6th Armored Cavalry, Green was born in Trenton, New Jersey, where he worked as a chief fraud investigator. He also served 18 years on the National Ski Patrol, was a former EMT and private pilot. Green's death also comes just 2 weeks after the passing of researcher Claudia Ackley, which we covered in episode 19. Michael Green was a dedicated researcher whose squeaky footage remains some of the most intriguing possible evidence ever captured. On behalf of the team here at This Week in Bigfoot, we would like to offer our condolences to the Green family, thank Mr. Green for his service to his country and his extraordinary contributions to Bigfoot research.
I don't. I know what I saw. Of course, I don't blame them for thinking I'm crazy. But by God, I'm going to prove it one way or another.
All right, folks, I can tell by the clock on the wall, and you should all know the drill by now. This is the part of the show where we give content creator Michael Merchant, aka Snowwalker Prime, screen time to speak his mind and get what's ever bothering him off his chest. Now, Snowwalker will hopefully rejoin us next week. We want to wish him and Lady K nothing but the best and let them know that they are in our thoughts and prayers. So until that time, here is another instant classic, this one voted by you, the viewer, to be your favorite. This is 2 Minutes With.
Echo Station 3PA. Station 3PA. We have spotted Imperial Walkers. Imperial Walkers on the North Ridge.
Trail camera photos of Sasquatch are always missing the metadata seen at the bottom of all trail cameras, detailing time, location, temperature, weather, moon phase, type of camera, a whole bunch of information down there. There's no reason to remove this information. It validates the photo as being, at least from a trail camera. People usually claim these are photoshopped. The hoaxers putting forth these fake trail camera images are not sophisticated enough to use Photoshop. If they were using Photoshop, they sure as hell would put the metadata in at the bottom to make the photo look realistic and valid. It's true these images are hoax. They are generated with sophisticated algorithm, artificial intelligence, art programs like DALL-E, Midnight Cafe, Midjourney, Starry Night, just to name a couple. An actual trail camera photo of Sasquatch would have the metadata at the bottom. Usually it's the bottom. I suppose it could be at the top. But information detailing the time of day, perhaps its GPS location, temperature, moon phase. If you were photoshopping it, you'd add in that information. If you were bright enough to use Photoshop, all they're doing is typing into a free AI generator, give me a Bigfoot. That's a trail camera photo from my uncle's aunt, great-grandmother's son who cleans the pool for his daughter. That's where the photo came. Montana, from Wyoming, the backwaters of Texas, the heart of Mississippi, given to me by a forest ranger, game warden, biologist, chemical engineer, linemen for the county.
I am a lineman for the county.
Fisherman, a hobo. Some chucklehead posts an image of Sasquatch claiming it's a trail camera photo. Ask him where the metadata is. What happened to the metadata? Where's the actual photograph? Why are you giving me this piece of shit cropped version where you cropped out the metadata? How would you do that? Low-hanging fruit. They're picking low-hanging fruit. Flim, flam, flummox, McDougal.
Tonight's edition of This Week in Bigfoot is sponsored by Broken Branch Designs. From outerwear and clothing to home and garden decor, Broken Branch Designs has everything to do with Sasquatch. For more information, visit brokenbranchdesignsllc.com.
Getting in the Bigfoot community spotlight is no easy task, and when it usually happens, your time might just be like a flash in the pan. Well, some researchers out there can't seem to let go of this, and will go through extraordinary lengths to stay in the spotlight, including hoaxing. In fact, there's actually a name for this phenomenon, known as Ivan Mark syndrome. The term was coined by renowned researcher Thomas Steenberg. I was fortunate to have a recent sit-down with Mr. Steenberg, who got more into detail on its definition.
Well, I coined the term back in the day because Ivan Marks was the first example of this I ever knew. Basically, Ivan Marks refers to any researcher who may have been involved in something authentic once and is the center of attention for a while. But when that attention dies down, it seemed the attention was more important than the subject. So they start hoaxing and making things up to remain the center of attention. And it works for them until they get caught.
I'm sure right off the bat, a few names immediately come to mind when you think about this term. We won't say or mention any names, but Mr. Steenberg did offer some unique insight on a set of researchers that could arguably be modern-day examples of Ivan Mark sufferers.
I'll just say my opinion. I don't like calling them hoaxing. I just say I don't believe a word they say. One, Todd Standing. Another one, Randy Brisson, because I personally caught him hoaxing. There are all kinds of the Georgia boys with their body in the freezer a while ago. Remember them? Yeah, yep. All kinds of people like that around. Michael Patterson of Terrio Sasquatch, I believe he calls himself. I don't believe a word he says. I mean, in 45 years of looking, I may have had a fleeing glimpse myself only once. So when I hear some guy who goes out and has like 2 or 3 sightings every month, red flags go off. There's something wrong. Yeah, there's something wrong.
But what about regular everyday people who became witnesses? Non-researchers who had an alleged sighting or profound experience? Could the need to preserve the attention they get from sharing their encounter drive them to start hoaxing or fabricating stories?
I find when it comes to witnesses hoaxing, even though with all this new technology and the way they can study it, they still make the same basic mistakes. They can't stop themselves. They always got to make it that much more creepy sounding, that much more detail, you know. And before you know it, the red flags, and they start, you know, spilling off every genre associated with the Sasquatch mystery you can think of, you know. Oh, how far away was it? Oh, it was a half a mile away, but they described it in such detail, it was like it was 8 feet from them. I mean, the one time I may have seen something in March of 2004, all I saw was a dark figure. You know, it was that far away. I couldn't see details, so I can't say it was a Sasquatch. You know, and I won't say it was a Sasquatch. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't know.
As Mr. Steenberg points out, especially in this day and age, this is why it's so important to do your own homework or find reputable sources that do. And always second guess everything you hear out there in this field. It's why we do what we do at This Week in Bigfoot. We're not trying to tell anyone what they should or shouldn't believe, but make sure whatever you do decide to believe is based on you being informed and not biased.
It's time to catch you up to speed on a couple of recent Bigfoot podcasts and live streams. First up this week, Squatch Watchers. Investigators get lost in the wilderness. In this funny clip, Tate and Toby start to worry as the sun sets in North Carolina, and they suddenly realize they have no idea where they're at. Check it out.
Toby, this is weird. I mean, we cut our way in, did we not? Yeah. Okay, I think we did.
I think we're lost. Play back the footage.
Wait a minute. Yeah,
this isn't even a trail.
Right there, look. Okay, now, y'all explain something to me.
Did we?
Right there's the tree that we looked at and went straight into. Yeah. If that's not our trail right there, then we had to come in here somewhere. That's what I'm wondering.
That's weird. This has never happened.
No.
Never. This has never happened.
No, this ain't right. Here.
I'm so confused.
Next up, it's the Cryptid Huntress. In the latest interview show from Cryptid Huntress Jessica, that's not easy to say, she speaks with researcher Barry Littleton about the future of Bigfoot research. Let's check it out.
And so if there are government programs, let's just say, with dogman breeding programs, let's talk about it. Let's bring them out. Let's see them. I mean, why are they hiding it from us? What do you think?
I like what he said.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, basically, he's saying very politely that half these cats are claiming to be whistleblowers are full of BS. He knows it. I know it. You know it. The guy selling hot dog down on Water Street, he was talking about it. He knew it. So in reality, I mean, what is the, you know what I mean? And they're never going to tell anything. And right now, I'm afraid that the way we're discovering this now is the only way, because demonic and dark forces always leave clues. There's something in the divine field that just mandates that. They always leave these clues, and these cryptids are one of them. You know, there wasn't such a dark thing going on behind it, but the fact is, you know, the word that always comes up in your community and in this on your show a lot is the word chimera, and that is chimera, and that's always been You can look back in the Bible and everything going back. That's always been something going on here. Just the fact that it's underground bases now, don't think, or underground facilities doing that, don't think that they're new. Some of these are probably 1,000 years old. These locations, the demonic forces that are running them through people that incarnate like you and I.
Rounding us all off this week at Channel the Grow and Into the Fray, episode 405, Those Woods. We listen in on Sharon's first appearance on the show as she interviews witness Leo, as he tells about 3 separate dogman encounters in 1 week in the state of Pennsylvania. Yeah, I know I said dogman, but I've been wanting to get Shannon on the show for quite some time, and this was the topic she had last week. So deal with it. It's still pretty good. Check it out.
That's the moment I say, okay, there's something else going on. This is not a bear. What is this? I'm staring at this thing. It had, as best I can say, the face of a coyote. It was jet black, the head shape of a coyote, the back. If you can imagine a big, large black bear with, I'm not going to say human, but a human-ish, broad shoulders. When you see a dog, it gets like upset of another dog, and the hairs on the back just kind of curl up. So that's all I saw. It was literally a stare down. I stood my ground. I'm like, I don't know what this is. I've never seen anything like this before. I'm not gonna freak out. I'm not gonna show fear because I don't know if it's gonna attack me or not. So I just stood my ground and just literally stare at it. We stared at each other for a good 30 seconds to a minute, and just it I want to say kind of slithered or back into the shrubs, into the trees, and that was it.
And as the weeks continue to fly by, we are now more than halfway through the summer of 2023. That being said, there's still only one guy we can all turn to keep us up to speed on the who's, the what's, and the where's, and that's Chuck Larson with another great show in this week's Spotlight. Hocking Hills Bigfoot Festival, August 4th and 5th, Logan, Ohio. Conference Spotlight.
The Hocking Hills Bigfoot Festival is a free, family-friendly, 2-day festival set to take place the weekend of August 4th and 5th in downtown Logan, Ohio. The beautiful Logan Theater will be the location for the VIP dinner taking place on Thursday, August 3rd in the evening, and for the speaker presentations on Friday and Saturday. Doors open for the presentations at 12:15 p.m. on both days. The festival kicks off Friday, August 4th at 10 a.m. with an opening ceremony called The Colors. The event continues Saturday, August 5th at 10 a.m., ending with the Moonville Night Hike at 8 p.m. There will be over 100 Bigfoot-themed vendors, 10 regional food trucks, and live music both days. Some of the speakers at the event are, on Friday, B. Mills, Ron Howes, and Steve Coles. And Saturday there will be Doug Waller, Ken Gerhardt, and many more. Cliff Barackman will be speaking on both days. 2 events require advanced pre-registration, and 2 free events are off location. For more information, again, go to the festival website or festival Facebook page. And that's this week's Conference Spotlight. Brendon, back to you.
All right, folks, it pains me to say that once again we are all out of time for this week's show. It flies by so fast, doesn't it? Seems like we just got started. But before we go, I'd like to thank you for watching and remind you to like and share everything we do here at the Catskill Appalachian Research Collective. Tell your friends. And if you have any questions or comments, or maybe a story for the show, you can always drop us a line at thisweekinbigfootnewscast@gmail.com. So until next week, for Mike Luci and Chuck Larson, I'm Brendon Brown, reminding you that when it comes to getting your Bigfoot news, be informed, not biased. Take care.